then please just type a question into the comment section below, and I'll get to you in due course, and I'll just spend 15 minutes or so having a chat and helping you out as best I can. So the first thing I'm going to talk about before we get started with questions was the topic of pet rabbits, because basically rabbits are one of those up-and-coming types of pets. Traditionally, people have always had dogs and cats. Those were the family pets people would think of. But what's happened is rabbits have moved from being, I suppose, children's pets that are stuck out in the garden in a hutch, to being household pets that become part of people's homes. And a lot of folk out there don't realise that they can be like that. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about that. Now, when I say household pets, what I mean is that rabbits, they can live indoors, and if they live indoors, they are naturally house trained. In other words, what they'll do is they'll use a litter tray. If you put them into a litter tray, as in like a cat litter tray, but with just some shredded paper in it or something, the rabbit will automatically know that's the place to go and do their toilet. So I suppose when you start with a rabbit, they probably go and put their droppings somewhere. But all you need to do is to put a litter tray where they did their droppings, and the rabbit will automatically know to go back there, and they'll go there every time. So that means that you can have a rabbit living in your home, and you won't have any bother with cleaning up after them, because all you need to do is clean the litter tray. So in that way, they can be very, very easy pets to keep in a family home. There are some issues. In particular, the main issue is they chew things. So it doesn't matter so much if a rabbit's in the garden and maybe it chews some favourite plants or chews the wooden edge of a frame or something. It doesn't matter. But if you've got a rabbit in the house and it does stuff like chewing the cable to the TV or the computer cables or whatever, there's a serious risk to their life from getting electrocuted. And as well as that, obviously they damage your stuff. So one of the things you have to do when you get a pet rabbit, if you're going to have them as a household pet, then you have to get your house chew-proof. And that means you have to buy special kind of plastic channel stuff to put over wires so that everything is protected from the rabbit's teeth. You see, rabbits' teeth keep growing, whereas dogs and cats have got teeth that just grow and then they're there like ours and then they fall out eventually. Rabbits have got teeth that grow and keep growing all the time. So rabbits generally in the wild, they would chew on grass, and by chewing on grass, they wear down their teeth naturally. Rabbits as pets, they have to chew on stuff to keep their teeth worn down naturally as well. So you have to give them lots of hay. But as well as that, they chew anything else they can find, and that's why they chew cables. Yeah. Okay, some questions coming in, so I'll just see what's going on here.
Okay, so Janet says there's a lot of controversy over feeding ducks at the moment. Is it okay to give them bread when visiting the park?
Yeah, I saw that. I saw that online too. Funny enough, somebody took a photograph of a poster saying you can feed us bread after all, and then everybody commentating is a bit confused. Some people saying no, you should never feed bread to ducks. Others saying, of course you can feed bread to ducks. So what's the truth? Okay, I'll tell you what the truth is. The truth is you can feed bread to ducks. It's okay to do that, but there are some provisos. First proviso is you should be aware that that's not what a duck naturally eats, okay? So they naturally eat stuff like pondweed and vegetation and so on. So it's not good if a duck has nothing at all but bread to eat. And also you should be aware that refined white bread isn't the best thing for them because they need fibre. So if you're going to give them bread, give them wholemeal bread or whole grain bread. The other thing is never give them bread which is mouldy, because mould can be toxic, so you can actually cause them harm by giving them mouldy bread. So I guess there would be exceptional situations if a duck was in a very urban area where it was getting loads and loads and loads of white bread. There could be an argument that there's too much bread for these ducks and you might have to ask people to ease back a bit. But in general, bread does provide energy, and ducks, in the winter especially, they need energy to survive, and natural food resources are scanty, so they depend on people giving them bread. So my answer to you is yes, carry on giving them bread, but be aware it mustn't be mouldy and it mustn't be wholemeal. It mustn't be white, it must be wholemeal. All right? Okay?
Okay, So, somebody wants to know, is it normal for my 9-year-old cat who sometimes gets sick shortly after he eats? He's been doing it for years, but the cat seems very happy besides.
Yeah, well, listen, if you talk to a cat specialist, they say to you, if your cat's vomiting more often than once a week, there's something wrong, you should go and get checked out by your vet. Okay? But what I've seen in my own cats is that some individual cats in particular are a bit prone to gorging on dry food especially. So they eat lots of dried food when you feed them, and after they've eaten all the dried food, about half an hour later, it comes up, they're sick. And to me, it's pretty obvious that what's happened is the food has gone to the stomach, it's swelled up with water, and it's become too bulky, and then they feel they have to bring it back up again. So if that's all your cat's doing, then I wouldn't worry about it too much. If, however, your cat's showing any other signs of illness, like weight loss, or episodes of diarrhea, or if in any way your cat is showing other ways of not being its normal self, then it definitely should go and talk to your vet. One common cause of vomiting as well in cats is something called inflammatory bowel disease, just like in humans, where the stomach and intestines become allergic to different particular foods. So one of the signs of that is vomiting, although usually there's diarrhea as well, and weight loss. So vomiting alone isn't something, as long as the cat is absolutely 100% normal in other ways, I wouldn't be too fussed about it. Unless it's happening every day, okay? Once a week, okay.
Okay, so we have a Jack Russell at home and he's deeply protective of me and hardly lets my husband near me. Most recently he bit him in the face. We are unsure as to what to do. What do you think causes this aggression and should we be worried?
Yeah, you should be worried. Any dog that bites anybody in the face, you should be very worried, because the potential is that the dog, well, not the potential, the likelihood is the dog will do it again. If the dog's done it once, it will do it again unless you do something different. Now, I can't tell you exactly why your dog's doing this. It's clearly something social. It's something to do with the relationship between you and the dog and your husband, and you and your husband, and it's complex. So the answer is that you should go and talk to a really good animal behaviourist, somebody like Susie Walsh of animalbehaviour.ie, because what you actually need is somebody to come and sit down with you and your husband and the dog and talk to the two of you and interact with the dog and understand precisely how this has happened. What exactly was going on when the dog bit your husband? What were the precise sequence of events? How do you interact with your dog precisely? Do you have boundaries in your house, or do you let the dog just do what it wants to do? If you're with the dog and your husband comes in, what do you do? Do you put the dog on the ground and walk away from it completely, or do you hold on to the dog as your husband approaches you? You know, all of those subtle things add up to create a particular kind of social formula which needs to be unpicked and then reformed. So you're going to have to change your behaviour with your dog so that your dog is less likely to do this again. And how precisely you do that depends on the very detailed particulars of what's going on. So it's really important you do this. I can't give you a snap answer, but there's some ideas.
Okay, so this comes from Patricia, who is actually watching from West Virginia. So our 3-year-old Labrador the last week has been eating grass and vomiting after. Why do dogs eat grass? We feed them high quality food.
Hello in West Virginia. It's nice to know somebody so far away is watching. Well, why do dogs eat grass? People often ask that question. The truth is nobody knows, because dogs can't explain it. They can't say, this is why I do it. They can't tell us, so we just have to guess. The best guess is there's 3 things that are suggested, okay? The first reason is that dogs like grass as part of their natural diet, and that they do it because their digestive system needs the bit of fibre, the few vitamins, whatever. It's an ingredient to their diet which they naturally have, and it's reasonably good for them. And they don't know why they do it, they just do it because they like doing it. Okay, that's the first possibility. The second possibility is that dogs do it to make themselves sick. And I think that's a very likely possibility, because often dogs will have owners might even notice that the dog has a bit of a gurgly tummy. They can hear the gurgle coming from the dog's stomach. Then the dog goes outside and it ravenously tries to eat grass, just goes to grass, and eats lots of grass. And once it's eaten a lot of grass, the grass irritates the stomach and the dog is sick. And when they're sick, then they feel better. So that's the second reason, is dogs do it deliberately to make themselves sick. And I think the third reason, which isn't so likely, is that some people would claim that maybe dogs are deficient in something and they get something from the grass that they need. There's no evidence for that one at all. I wouldn't believe that last one at all. And you've just said it yourself, your dog's already on a good diet, so it doesn't actually need anything. So I think it's quite normal for dogs just to eat a bit of grass now and again. If a dog is one of those dogs that has a gurgly tummy and then goes and ravenously grazes on grass like there's no tomorrow, then I'd be saying, well, maybe there's some reason why your dog's feeling nauseous. And I've known some dogs, for example, that need anti-acid type medication. And if the owner learns the dog has a rumbly tummy, and what the owner does is the owner gives them some anti-acid type medication, and literally the running tummy goes away and the dog doesn't want to eat grass. So if your dog's got any sign of gastrointestinal upset as well as eating grass, then you should talk to your vet about getting some sort of treatment for that, and that would help them. But otherwise, if it's just an occasional grass eater, then it's nothing to worry about.
Okay, so the last question is from Caroline. So, is it normal for my 2-year-old Yorkie to lick the bottom of shoes that have been worn outside? I'm afraid she'll get sick.
2-year-old
Yorkie, yeah.
I haven't heard that one before. That's a very interesting one. Well, there's lots of things dogs do that are normal, but maybe not that common. I think that's one of those. I mean, dogs are normally curious about stuff. So dogs, they like smells. They're fascinated by smells. Like, you just need to see a dog going for a walk, how it stops and sniffs things. They have a really exquisitely sensitive sense of smell, and they love different smells. And taste is really just another form of smell. So obviously a dog's getting some sort of pleasure from smelling your shoes and then from licking them. And it's nothing at all to worry about. It's an interesting observation. And if I was you, I'd probably make a little video and put it up on your Insta feed or YouTube. And if you do that, you'll probably find that other people say, hey, my dog does that as well. And you probably find it's more common than you think. But as long as your dog's vaccinated and as long as it's not licking anything which is in any way toxic or irritant, then it's nothing to worry about. Okay, so I'm going to sign off now, and I'll be back next Thursday for the normal Vet Spot on the radio.